at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Gun Show. Coming to you live, mostly in California because it's the best state in the union. Got some people here. We got Bob from Canada. Still okay.
Howdy.
We got Smeggy in Michigan.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
Just remember the people that took over Wisconsin.
It's also known as the glove and mitten state.
The murder mitten.
Yep.
Yeah.
It has been known for that, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm from the murder mitten. He's a magical snowman. Dano, Illinois.
Yes, from the Gacy state. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the places that that was on my list of things when I first went to that state to see.
It's known as the East State.
I drove by his house in '79 after it was discovered that he was who he was. Very weird.
Very weird. And we got G-Webs and a special little treat.
I'm a special little treat.
Well, let's nibble on that.
We're live at HOSH's abode.
Yep. Well, in front of it.
Yep. Sitting in the van in front of HOSH's place again. So what? 2 years later? About?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yep.
Right on second van. Third tour.
The van's nice.
Yeah.
No
That's gonna make your neighbors wonder, right?
Yeah, every 3 years you got this van parked in front of your house. What's going on?
If somebody's keeping that much of me when I'm doing between years, we got a problem.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that's probably the least weird thing.
Oh, they probably think it's probably just one of those mobile massage things.
Yeah, why are those two dudes climbing in the back of that van?
Two dudes in the van.
All right, well,
with
moving on.
the disco lights. With the disco lights.
In Southern LA, I think.
Yeah, southeast.
Yeah, well. Anyway.
Hey, who would think anything of it? It's LA, right? They just go, whatever.
Oh no, actually here you got to have a ticket on the windshield, right? If I was to park overnight or something.
Yep.
Like they definitely keep tabs. In
this
fact,
city's pretty, yeah.
Most of the parking lots I've experienced, they'll have like a little guy walking around or with a little scooter, paying attention to what's going on in the parking lots.
Mm-hmm.
So even like a Walmart or a Vons or like store or whatever, shopping center, will have somebody walking around paying attention to what vehicles are out there. So when these places all close at 10 or 11 or 12, which every place does here for some reason, you would think LA would be 24/7.
Some places, bars and stuff, but
and like Taco Bells and stuff. But for the most part, the big stores are all kind of closed, and the parking lots are abandoned; they're empty.
Yeah,
and it's tough to. You stand out being a single vehicle. Unless you're.
That's right.
Would you say that California is the most unfriendly van state so far?
Not for vans, for every regular people. Because like I say, for the van, I can park anywhere.
Yeah.
Nobody knows if a van. I mean, I guess that I do stand out because I have one plate. So if I back in, which I do, then I'm looking like a no plate. So they're going to pay attention because California has a 2-plate rule.
Yeah, we're front back plate.
But if I start parking front ways in, which I'm probably going to do, that way they'll just know I'm Arizona and not pay a second mind. Because I could be here fixing their air conditioner or anything.
You just have to find a school of vans going down the freeway, and you just school with the vans wherever they go.
I found a couple of times, not on this trip yet, but on the last trip, I found a couple of times where I go into a parking lot, there's like 20 vans, like a plumber place or something where they have like all this stuff staged for the night, and I could just park in there and one of 1,000 other vans.
Could be one of those massaging vans. But anyway, so what's today? Tuesday?
Tuesday it is. All day.
Tuesday, Second Amendment Tuesday. So what's Second Amendment-y for Tuesday today? Anything going on today?
Wasn't there an op-ed in one of the big newspapers about how it's time to get rid of the Second Amendment?
Yes, there was. Who was that by, Bob?
Oh, I don't remember who it was by.
It was by a Supreme Court justice who
Wow.
was appointed by Nixon, so they didn't even really get picked by the people.
God, how could he be?
Yeah, I think it's important to point out he is retired now.
He
Yeah.
is
So at
retired.
least it's not a person that's still deciding things, but
You gotta
I'm going to go with at least now they're actually putting their cards on the table. We've talked about it before. There are so many people that are like, well, I support the Second Amendment, but what about this, that, or the other? At least now they're going, hey, I want to get rid of the Second Amendment.
think
It's
for
like,
a
okay,
minute.
I completely disagree with you, but at least you're honest.
Think for a minute how old this guy is, and you know what happens when you get older, you get more honest, right? So maybe now he's in his 90s, semi-senile. He's just like, yeah, I think we should get rid of that Second Amendment and that First Amendment too, because yeah, it made it really hard to run the country.
I can't say that I've seen him say anything about the First Amendment since he was, using free speech to give his point of view, but
But
he
that's not,
definitely did say that he thinks that they should. And maybe I didn't read it. I'm not gonna lie. I saw the title and was like, "That's dumb," and I didn't read it. But maybe I should have. I'm curious if maybe some of you guys looked at it or whatever. Was he saying it as like a tactical thing? Like, if you actually want to get rid of guns, you should repeal the Second Amendment and then start banning stuff because he at least realizes how the law works. It's going to be impossible to ban all guns with the Second Amendment still in place. So was it something like that, or was it just more philosophically he didn't think the right to defend yourself was worth it?
yeah, I don't know. I have to be truthful as well and say I didn't read it, but I know a lot of more right-leaning web broadcasters didn't like it, and I figure that's good enough for me because I don't have time to read all the shit. I
Yeah,
got
well,
shit.
that's definitely something I think we should follow up on and see, the specifics. But I mean, yeah, but a lot of people, to be honest, I think a lot of people have no idea that he's a retired judge and they just saw Supreme Court justice and were like, oh, see, this dude's on our side.
I'm afraid you're probably right.
Yeah, because I mean, people don't pay attention. And when I saw it on the Facebooks, I'm scrolling through, and it doesn't say retired. That was something in the article. The headline just said Supreme Court Justice, and there's a shit ton of people who couldn't name any of them.
Okay, because the one I saw, the headline at least said, or former Supreme Court Justice. So at least I had that part of the information before I, like I said, I didn't even read the thing because I didn't want to.
Think about how old. Think about how old this guy has to be if he was appointed by Nixon.
Yeah. Well, what age do you think the senile sets in?
Well, it depends on the person, but
in anti-gunners, as soon as they start thinking anti-gun.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, as soon as, like, if he was appointed by Nixon, that's mid-60s, and if he was, say, 40 years old then, like, he's now, in his 90s, if not older.
Now, Bob, you do realize that you're basing your whole case on assumptions that you don't know.
Someone out in the chat said he's 97, so there you go. Answer solved.
All right, so there you go. Damn. I was making some assumptions based on time, relevance, when people generally get it.
As you mentioned, you didn't read the article, so I'd be interested in someone's opinion that has.
Well, I don't think any of us have really, so we're all just kind of spitting into the wind, or it's not spitting, pissing into the wind.
I don't know a whole lot of people who at 97 are still sharp as a tack. That is the rare exception.
I don't know a lot of people at like 47 that are still sharp as a tack, so.
Oh, that's true.
We're all a little off. But anyway, yeah, so anything else to add to Second Amendment Tuesday?
So I had an interesting thing happen when I was at work today. I don't know how somebody started talking about guns. It was a smaller group. And one of the women that, works with us, very smart, everybody's very smart. And she just basically said, yeah, there's no need to have any guns. We shouldn't have any guns. And I said, oh, that's interesting. So what do you think about, what do you do if the, government comes after you? Don't you need to, have you ever thought about protecting yourself? And she's like, I've never really thought about that. I'm like, well, what do you think the Second Amendment's for? She goes, I didn't realize it was for protecting you against the government. And I said, did you have a civics class when you were in school? And she's like, yeah, I didn't like history. So just straight up, even professionals totally don't understand, and they're not being purposely obtuse. They just don't get it, and they don't even think about it, right?
The significance is lost because, it's like tennis or golf. I'm not into it.
Right.
There's no
I'm not into it, therefore,
to it.
Yeah, I don't need this. It's not a part of my life. And the fact that people can get violent, well, we need to do something about that so that I can get back to what I care about, right? That's what they're thinking about.
Yeah, let's make that go away. It's insignificant. It's unnecessary. Right. Let's have it go.
So it's easy to minimize it to the point that you just make it disappear. And that seems to be the game plan.
That was the point that I used to get people to sign the petitions for the Gunmageddon thing. Is I said, look, I know you don't care about guns and it's not really your thing, but I think you should at least have the opportunity to research it. So if you sign this, you get a little more time. Otherwise, they're just taking your rights and you have no say.
Something that I've often tried to repeat as often as possible, and because I just see it as true on this core issue, is it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. And if we look at the omnibus spending bill that has recently just been passed, where nobody except for us happens to mention the fixed NICS that just happens to be in there, that has nothing to do with the spending bill. Is we continue to bleed these little tiny cuts that sooner or later turn into gaping wounds that sooner or later may end up in the death of our rights.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what makes it so difficult, is that it's such a myriad topic with many, many different points of view, and it seems like we hear the major repetitive talking points, like common sense gun laws, But there's people who fundamentally have completely different views on what that term even means, because it's so ill-formed, right?
Well, yeah, it's intentionally vague. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, they know that they're manipulating.
Because so any movement to their side is a slow, gradual death by 1,000 cuts attack. And that's been my new argument is, so when people talk about, banning any kind of weapon, whether it's a semi-automatic rifle or even a bump stock, I ask them, so are you stupid or are you a liar? Because you're either a stupid person and you don't understand how guns work, or you're a liar and you're going to be back in a year for another pound of flesh, right? So stupid or liar. That's I just say that, like, stupid or liar. Are you dumb? You understand the reality of what you're doing, which is like that woman, or are you intentionally being obtuse?
Yeah, you do understand, and you're
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like
so
the
when
person that said, "Hey, if they give us an inch, we're going to take a mile."
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, I am proud of them for finally saying what they actually mean. People are coming out and saying all semi-autos, repeal the Second Amendment. They give us an inch, we take a mile. As much as I disagree with them, at least they're finally being honest, because I'm so sick of, I like the Second Amendment, but just give up a little bit. I'm so sick of that.
It's so weird having HOSH here, because I'm used to muting when you guys are talking. So I keep wanting to mute because he's talking, but if I mute, then you don't even listen to him.
He's trying to mute me. No.
I keep reaching over here to mute, and I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Censoring him.
Unhanded.
Well, so I think we covered the Second Amendment, right? Pretty much for Tuesday, anyway.
We fixed it. It's solved.
I guess it's safe, yeah.
Yeah, it's solved. I mean, it's all figured out. So you guys are welcome. But yeah, so State of the State is next. But before that, Member of the Day. And since I'm the master of this show right now, it's going to be Dano.
Oh,
dun dun dun. Would be the sound effect if I had my regular computer.
I don't know what to say.
Dun dun
I guess
dun.
he's all right. I like Dano. He's decent.
Yeah, Dano's he's fun.
We
So
both acknowledge the famous and the infamous.
I acknowledge Dano.
And that's all I would ever expect.
I have met Dano. He is real. Or he's
Well-
this very sophisticated robot.
Well,
so
we don't. There was no proof that was the real Dano.
I'm saying I never poked him. I didn't look into his eyeball or anything to see if he's a robot.
Well,
It
I
looked like
do have DNA evidence of
Like-
both
You can send
G
that.
and DNA evidence of oral.
DNA.
okay.
Send your DNA care
Oh
of
yeah, you probably do.
Biker
Sorry about
Bob,
that.
PO Box.
Do not send any DNA evidence to me, please. I don't want your DNA. Thank you.
Did you take the Voight Comp test,
I'm pretty.
Dano?
Was that the where your ancestry is from?
No, Voight Comp is the test that determines if you're a replicant or not from Blade Runner.
Oh, no, I have not.
Oh, he just admitted he has not taken it and refuses to take it.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
you
we
used to have
don't-
a doggo? We're getting a question from Amorphous. Did you used to have a doggo as your avatar, a golden retriever?
Yes.
He did. And then he switched to this one, Moon Major, right?
all right, well,
Yeah,
Dano's the tactical member of the day.
Yeah, I saw it. Very cool.
So state of the state, we don't really have anything. So
Let's do California. Let's do California.
Now, I do have a question
Three
before you guys
Californians
dive
in
into a state. I do have a general question on the state of the state.
okay,
California, Dano.
No, I don't. I just before you guys start that, I have a serious question.
okay.
Did you guys actually were you able to go through the 50 since I've left the show? I forget where we were at.
No, because we started doing the order of the states I visited last year. So we did 18 states there. That was 18 weeks. And then I think we did a couple of like in betweens when there was something happening or something. So I think that was probably 18 weeks of that. But no, we haven't done all 50. I know it would be interesting to find out which states have we missed. I'm sure it's stuff in the middle, those states that don't have the insignificant states.
Yep. The flyovers
The flyovers.
or the drive-throughs.
No, I have no idea. But I'm sure we missed. Did we ever done Idaho?
Because like I was listening to a chat earlier tonight, and I just realized that I had no idea that there was a duty to retreat in Missouri and Arkansas, which are traditionally very gun-friendly places.
Oh, that is
and I was kind of shocked because in Illinois, which is not considered a very free state, we do not have a duty to retreat.
Even California has a castle doctrine.
Okay, so I have a question from the YouTube side. If Dano and Smeggy sound the same, so Dano say something and then Smeggy say whatever Dano said.
Smeggy.
Dano?
There you go. They sound different.
They do sound different.
And I've met both of them. They're different people. They're different human beings.
I am much fatter.
How do you know? Oh, wait, I guess you're.
And I am much more attractive.
Have you guys met each other?
No. So we have never been seen in the same room at the
Although-
same time.
I'm only a short ride across the lake. I didn't make it to the big shootout, but maybe that's good
Oh,
because
I
maybe I
see.
would have been a target.
I seen Dano like one day and then left Illinois, went to Indiana, and seen Smeggy like the next day, pretty much. So they would hit out that replicant would have gone pretty fast.
Well, no, because you had several days of trying to figure out what to do with the van as the transmission went into blue smoke.
Okay, you just made the argument more unconvincing. Then maybe they are the same person.
Yeah, but if you show up to the
Would a robot do that?
the
though?
firearm policy conference, which will be in Chicago this year, I am definitely planning on going because that's a pretty short drive for me. And I would assume Dano is going because I'm just going to speak for him because maybe we are the same person.
There you go. And I think, I'm not positive, it's actually in Rosemont.
Yep.
Which is a suburb, but still in Cook County, which has lots of draconian carry laws. So,
Rosemont is easily accessible too.
oh yeah, I mean, it's the first place if somebody flies in, it's the first exit out of O'Hare Airport.
Yes. You know that street
Yes.
where I think it might start with an L, where you drive towards O'Hare, so like head on, and you're basically, the planes are like coming over you to land.
I used to live in Mount Prospect, and the runway approaches, as well as the takeoff strips, are now from multiple angles. So it's not like there's just like Elk Grove is an example. They get a lot.
So what's the state of California?
Yep.
How are the gun laws over in California, guys?
Let me tell you what it's like as we know the laws are horrible, right? I can tell you what it's like as an Arizonan driving around California without a gun. I think I've figured it out. It's like driving around without a spare tire. That's what I feel like 99% of the time. Yeah. I know that I'm like intentionally not prepared for some things that'll probably not happen, but it's weird, and it's, or like leaving your wallet at home.
Yeah. Yes.
You can
like
do
your cell
it,
phone or your wallet,
or like your cell phone. It's like it's annoying. So that's what it's like 24/7.
Having only recently gotten into concealed carry because it wasn't legal in my state until just a few years ago, and when I've gone to visit places that I've not been allowed to carry, it's almost like revisiting, for me anyway, that uncomfortable feeling of when I actually did first start to carry.
Mm-hmm. And it's like you're aware of it.
Yes.
Right. And I keep constantly, what happened to my gun? Because it's not in my pocket. What happened to my gun? It's not in my belt, right? What happened to my gun? And I wake up, where's my gun? And then I gotta go, okay. Well, what's weird too is I'll go into somewhere and I'll be like, oh, I gotta put my gun up. I'm like, oh, I don't have a gun. Right. I could just walk in like a sucker.
Yeah. Just like your wallet, your keys, and your cell phone. I mean, you self-consciously when you get in and out of a car.
Little dumb things like how you start asking like how many exits does this place have? Is this a choke point? You're more conscious of some things because when you lose your one sense, right, you got to overtake it with other senses. So you got to be a bit more spatially aware. Not to say that people who are carrying guns aren't, but you're immediately more viscerally
You're less capable.
Impacted.
You're less capable.
Yeah, exactly. Angie, have you heard any new laws other than your crazy Barbara Boxers and the Feinsteins?
I have not, no.
I have a few here.
Shoot.
If you guys want to know just the new stuff, so I think we've kind of done it before as far as most people know, you guys have assault weapons ban, you don't really have carry, and
I can't talk about that.
Bunch all the other stuff, whatever that.
Well, even that written test, I was unaware until just yesterday when I heard about it.
Yeah, I didn't know about that either. Until
knives test like for handgun safety.
So I go pick up knives, right? And he's like, "Hey, let's go to the only gun store down there, right?" So we go to Turner's, and that's Signal Hill.
That's a decent, it's a decent Turner's. I believe I bought my 870 there.
So we go there, and I was like, "Hey, can I take pictures?" No, they have a corporate policy. So I'm like, "All right." And then Lives is like, "Hey, since we're here, I'm going to do my test." And I didn't even know what this was. And you have to take a 30-question test. You can only miss 7 questions on it in order to own a firearm.
It used to be just for handguns. Long guns were just anybody could purchase them, and then they made it quote unquote safety test for all firearms.
And from what he takes the test, he passes, of course, with these knives, and then they go do the whatever, and they give him this little piece of paper with like a printout of his card on it, right? And it's a whole piece of paper, and he has to cut the card out himself. For $2, they'll laminate it, but he goes on to explain that this is done through my employee's ID at the state. So if this is good for 5 years, if you lose it, you can come back to me, and we'll replace it for $5. If I'm still working here, because it's through my employee ID. If that guy leaves the company or something else, then you got to take the test again and get it through another person's employee ID, and
they charge you another,
and you got to pay $35.
$35, yeah. So they upped it.
It's ridiculous. They created a system that's dumb and broke and never even had a chance of working in the first place, and they don't care.
It's all about how difficult can we make this?
Yeah,
not like
silly and complicated.
They're not going to tell you no. They're just going to add more hoops until you don't want to anymore.
And then I was listening. They were on number 54. They had take a number.
Oh yeah,
number
there's a ton 54. Of people. Yeah.
And we were there at noon, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they're at number 54, which is a lot for a gun shop.
Oh, there's the cat.
Oh, right on. Cat walked in here. So it's good luck if a black cat walks into your van, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I don't remember, maybe 10 phone calls, and pick up the phone, explain the California gun laws.
Oh yeah.
Pick up the phone, explain the California gun laws. I'm thinking if you added up all the time spent with every employee, think about how many man hours that is that the companies are.
Oh, just time wasted, time lost. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
My Boy Scout master actually went to go work for Ammo Bros, which is in Cerritos here, and I would shoot the shit with
I'm
him
taking that guy with me.
whenever I'm in town. He is a meth addict. I don't know if you knew that. We got him from a meth head.
Oh,
He
really?
was all twacked out when we got him. He used to climb the walls, just went nuts.
How old is that guy?
7, 8.
He just walked right in here. He's cool.
Yeah,
He looks like a little panther walking around.
that's what they call him. They call him the Panther. He fights raccoons. He's big. He's a big cat.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah. And he's gonna go. No, no.
Let
And
him
his
up
name's
there.
George.
I don't know if you want
Oh, you can lock him in. So the other thing that I know they added to was, so it's not just a quote unquote assault weapons ban anymore. If your gun matches any of the features, quote unquote, or is the name brand, you have to do a whole nother round of registration on it now, and that has to be done this year.
And that's where everybody's scrambling to make them
Featureless.
compliant to not comply. with
Right.
that
So
bullshit.
everybody's running around to make them featureless, which
Isn't cheap. $100 plus to get all
get
the
a-
garbage
to get a good grip,
Yeah.
and, now the
I shouldn't call them
advantage.
garbage. They're well made, but
Yeah,
goofy
some of them's
looking
really
parts.
nice. Some of them's nice. Other ones look like it's a growth that's hanging off of the grip. But the advantage of that is then you can have a magazine release instead of a bullet button. The problem is that almost all of these devices are kind of custom made, or not custom made, but they're made and designed for ARs. The AK-47 crowd, pretty bad scene as far as featureless goes for AK-47. Really bad. If somebody came up with a good design there, they do pretty well.
They were, and then another thing, since I was waiting for Knives to do that test, they were showing, the employee was showing this old guy all the different ways to comply.
Mhm.
And this one where you flip the lever and you kind of bring it out, you open it, sort of
pop the upper.
disassembly, but it doesn't pop.
Mhm.
It's retained, so it barely just shifts. So you do this like movement.
Oh, it's
And it
open, and
shifts,
then you can open.
but it's
the
open
magazine.
like I'm showing him, but it opens like a quarter of an inch at the end of the receiver, so it's barely open.
Right.
But that allows the thing to disengage, and you can remove your mag normal, and then
because
you
it's
kind of
considered field strip.
you
or
kinda
taken apart.
put you kind of hold the forearm and your pistol grip and wiggle them together to bring the gun back into position.
Yep.
And then it snaps in there. But it's like such a dumb manual of arms now, and a complicated manual of arms already on an AR. And,
Mhm.
I mean, it works for going to the range, but that would not work in real stress. It's weird.
Right, and you gotta keep in mind too that they're not putting up those rules to make it harder to defend yourself. They're just doing it
Oh, no,
because
it happens, but they're not doing it.
yeah,
intentionally.
it's a byproduct. Because again, none of these people have any kind of intelligence regarding firearms.
Or maybe they do, and they're intentionally putting stuff in there.
Well, that goes
Say
back to my
just
stupid or
tweaks
liar,
and-
right?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
either stupid or liar. So I'm guessing that almost all of them are just stupid. Because again, they like tennis, they like golf. They don't care about guns, nor do they want to get educated. They have no passion for it.
Can I squeeze in a question?
Yeah.
The question is I know you guys, California has a approved gun list. That's not the technical name of it, but something to that effect.
Handgun roster.
Okay. I was looking just out of curiosity. I bought a revolver about a month or so ago, and it was on the approved gun list for 2017, but it was not on the list for 2018, yet it's the same model. So if I was an actual California resident and actually had it already registered or whatever, and it's not on the 18 list, what is the owner supposed to do if his gun or firearm is no longer on the list?
Nothing. It's not illegal. They're not illegal guns. You just can't buy them new anymore if you're not a cop.
Correct.
Basically.
Yeah.
So I'd be able to, somebody could buy it used.
Yes. So if HOSH has, like a Gen 4 Glock 19, and so I can't buy that new at the store, but he wants to sell it to me. I can buy it from him. We can meet at a local gun store, pay $35, and then in 10 days I come back and pick up the gun after my hold and my background check. So I can buy it private party, and he can sell it to me, and that's totally fine. But neither of us can go buy them brand new at the store today.
So there's a bunch of cops actually that have gotten busted in California for basically doing straw purchases. They purposely go out and buy Gen 4s, like what is it, Model 42, that aren't available in California, and then they'll sell a few of them, quote unquote, not too many, but enough that some of them got
out into the distribution.
Yeah, they'll find people, Cal guns,
And
whatever.
they're probably going down in price every time because they're used, right?
Oh yeah, the opposite, right? They're like the Rolls Royce of clocks. It's pretty funny though, because before they changed the law a couple years ago, you used to be able to go to a gun. It wasn't FFL, but he was kind of like a gunsmith. And what they would do is they would quote unquote modify the handgun to only accept a single shot. So for guns that weren't on the roster, like good example is the Ruger LCP. You can't get the Ruger LCP in California. So I went to one of these guys and he put in a barrel sleeve through the stock barrel and then fastened an outer shroud, which he bolted it down with an Allen wrench, and then had a mag block installed in the stock mag. And I said, okay, I'll buy it. And he said, okay, come back in 10 days. I bought a single shot exempt LCP that only could fire 25 automatic. So I took it from a 380 down to a 25.
In single shot.
Single shot. So then I said, okay, come back in 10 days. And he goes, okay. He starts taking it apart and he puts the now back to stock gun in the box. And I say, oh, wasn't I supposed to do that? He's like, well, you can, but I got to charge you $125 for the barrel shroud. And it's kind of like a core swap. You pay me and then you go home and you swap it out and you can bring it back to me and I'll give you your 125. Or I can just do it for you right now.
Yeah.
So he's like, do it for me right now. So basically we jumped through all these hoops. He did all this work. I paid extra money to get a gun that's perfectly fine to comply. And then I don't even walk home with any of these extra parts. It's just nothing. It's just vapor money. Money that disappeared into nothing.
And there is something that's going through right now related to this handgun roster, and that's AB 1872, which is basically it's changing the regulation and exempting more government employees. So personally, I can't stand that kind of stuff when it's just like, oh, like I work for the post office, so I can buy an LCP unmodified, or I work here or there. Like, what makes you better than the regular citizen? So,
yeah, the idea in any law of having special people generally does not go down well, but unfortunately, it's a common occurrence both at the federal, state, and local levels.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but there's a handful of other new stuff that's going through right now, if you guys would like to hear about that in California.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, I think this is going from oldest to newest, so maybe some of these have already gone through or whatever. But there was Senate Bill 459, which these guys are calling it the State Harassment of Gun Dealers. And basically it would add, it would mandate that the California Department of Justice conducts inspection of gun dealers at least every 2 years. So now I'm pretty sure they can just like pop in whenever they feel like or whatever. And that's the kind of same thing. If you have an FFL, the federal, the ATF can pop in whenever, and they probably do every once in a while. But this is basically saying that California, like, they have to do it at least every 2 years. So that's just kind of, and like I said, I think that's I like the renaming of it, of the harassment of gun dealers bill. Let's see, the next one here. I see DB out in the thing, so I know he loves when I read the numbers. But SB 1100, it raises the age requirement for firearm purchase, as well as limiting the purchase frequency. So basically anyone from 18 to 21 can't buy a firearm. And then you can't purchase more than one firearm within the 30-day period. Which
we have that already here for pistols.
It formally applied to only handguns.
But now it's going to be everything.
It's going to apply to any firearm. So if you buy one rifle, you got to wait 30 days before you buy a handgun, and then you got to wait 30 days before you buy another one.
And is that like so now I can only buy one new handgun every 30 days, but I can buy 1 billion used handguns all month.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The way this is worded, it says one firearm within a 30-day period, which formerly applied to only handguns. So I'm guessing they just took the exact same handgun thing and said this applies to long guns as well.
Yeah, you got it.
So
yeah.
However it worked with handguns is how it's going to work for firearms.
Yeah. So instead of just being handgun only, it's firearms. So you go buy an H&R single shot, that counts.
Just my take on that, but isn't that an infringement on the Second Amendment?
Every gun law is an infringement, Bob.
You should do something about that.
Oh, I don't understand this one at all. Oh my goodness.
We have, you know, it's kind of funny. The NRA, ILA, the California Rod, or no, CRPA, California Rifle and Pistol Association. They have their own judicial wing. So we actually do pound for pound spend a lot of money, probably more than a lot of other states. But you gotta understand that it's such a big state, and there's so much money coming in from the anti-gunners, and we have such an anti-gun society, really, that it's very hard to be a salmon and fight the river.
Do you think that's because a lot of the people that live there aren't legal, so they're not really legal to vote, so they're not legal to get a gun, so
they can vote
on anyone downtown?
You're no longer required to be a citizen of the United States to vote.
Right.
Oh yeah, they're changing the laws up here the same way too. Yeah, the present.
No, it's not a law, Bob. They just don't check.
Vote early, vote often.
That's what I always do. So
isn't that the slogan of Chicago?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to change our laws here so that you don't need ID to vote. We've always
that's got nothing to do with California law, though.
Yeah, in Chicago, they actually give illegal aliens IDs based on nothing except their verbal word, so that they can go get their voter registration cards.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have one in California, AB 1927, which would create an easily accessible internet-based platform that individuals could use to add themselves to a do not sell list. What? What?
That's amazing.
First off, I wonder, like, how many people are going to add someone else they don't like and pretend to be them? Like, I don't know how much information you have to put to, like, you have to know the person's social security number or whatever. But I just see an internet-based thing. I'll just sit there. I'll add all of the politicians. Be like, oh, you guys are going on the do not sell list. You know?
Okay,
And
here's what I don't get, though, to be honest. Here's what I don't get. So if I'm going to put myself on a list, like a do not sell, why don't I just not buy a gun?
Exactly. If you have that much self-control to, like, put yourself on a list, unless that's the theory, is that in a moment of clarity, you put yourself on the list, and then when you, I'll use the word like relapse or whatever, you slip and go, oh, I think I might buy one.
Or then, maybe in a moment of insanity, you put yourself on the list.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Right?
Then there's AB 3, which prohibits firearm and ammunition purchases by young adults. That's probably the same as the other one that got rid of 18 to 21-year-olds. AB 2103 heightened requirements for obtaining a CCW. It doesn't really say what it would do. It just says that it would, it's already extensive and it would add unnecessary requirements, but this website doesn't list exactly what they are. But it's like you barely get CCW anyways, and now it's going to be even harder. And that doesn't quite make sense. And then AB 3199 prohibits firearm raffles. Because, those are all evil. That, you buy a raffle ticket and then you end up, winning a gun, and then you go to a FFL and jump through all the hoops that you normally would anyways. I mean, I bet you the people who wrote this think that, like, you could buy a raffle ticket and then walk home with the gun. And it's like, no, it still goes to a regular transfer. You probably still have the 10-day wait, and you still have to get the license and do all the other stuff.
So if you win a gun at a raffle, you still have to have that little permission slip. You still gotta, pay the transfer and wait the 10 days.
Yeah. All the ones I've ever seen, because there was one, I forget what group was doing it, but it was a fundraiser thing in the raffle. And basically every single person who won, they gave them like a gift certificate type thing and said, here, you can pick it up from this gun store. Like, so
then you go and you do whatever the law is. That's where you go do it.
Right. So whichever gun store was like donating the guns or donating the transfer or whatever, you know, you would get a thing and it would say, okay, like pick this up down the road, or maybe you could give them your address or tell them ship to like a local FFL to you, almost like from an out of state thing, but you know, being in state. So yeah, you're still doing the background check. You're still doing a 4473. It's just like buying a gun yourself, only someone else paid for it. So, but that's it for as far as new stuff. I mean, you guys are already have tons of really crappy laws, and it shows you they're never going to stop because they just keep adding even more. So I'd say that rounds up the state of the state pretty darn good.
This is what happens when you march to lose your rights, basically.
March to lose your rights, indeed. That's a good name for it instead. March to lose your rights.
It's very well descriptive.
And you looked for answers from a group of people that in another situation you said are far too inexperienced to carry the responsibility of something that is potentially dangerous.
Yeah, they're even admitting that themselves, and then they want the law raised to own a gun to 21. Well, none of them are 21, so who are they to tell me what to do? You know? Like,
Yeah.
really?
Well, I mean, that's just...
We're not talking to all of them. There's a lot of students out there that are pro-Second Amendment. We will never hear a word from them.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I want to take a second and say, hey, Jimmy.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by, Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yo, what's up, guys? Sorry about that. I didn't know I was muted.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Participation is great.
You're welcome, Jimmy. We just finished doing your requirement of the show.
So
yeah, I see. I just came in the nick of time.
Yeah, you're not getting paid either.
Hey, I'm the boss, Bob. I'm the boss.
All right, you tell them.
So do you guys like movies?
Anyway, no, we don't like movies right now. What we do like is gun shops. And I want to take this time to say, what the hell was I going to say? Oh, Indiegogo. So G-Webs is on the Gun Show Loophole tour right now. So, you know, if you got a couple bucks or whatever, throw it out there. I'm sure some links will be posted. But yeah, so gun shop of the day.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Muted. All right, so yeah, I'm dropping those links. Appreciate that plug. And yeah, we're on the tour, so that's why I figured we'd do live, right? So the last thing I did was go to the LA, where'd it go? The LA, boom, Police Museum. So I forgot who started recommending that, but it is awesome. I've had it recommended a few times now. Wow. So it's in this old, I don't have a picture of it in here. It's like an old police station from 1935 or something. And all kinds of cool stuff. It's 3 floors, not the biggest museum I've ever seen, but relevant pieces of history. These are the AK-47s from the Hollywood shootout.
That's crazy.
See that modified third hole? And both AKs, his H&K, I didn't even know, was in the car. So I guess the one dude before they killed him was going for this. And then this scary ass, this is their shit, and like mannequins or whatever. Like this is
that is their legit clothes.
That's what's scary. It's weird because it's a museum. I guess all museums are legit, but how often is it something that affected that was wow?
That's literally evidence, right? Because they took the evidence from the police and they put it in the police museum.
This is the way these dudes went down.
Cool, but freaky, yeah.
Yeah, and it's weird because you walk into this room. I got it on video to this, so you're standing eye to eye with this guy with this weird AR pointed at you with a beta mag.
Yeah.
Very impressive. And this museum is awesome. I did a walkthrough. I could probably jump to the video actually. I don't know if we should, but it is a good museum. I mean, you Californians know how to do things. Like it is fun. It is interesting. It keeps your eyes moving. It's like, oh, the police museum, big deal. Right. No, it is awesome. It is like a neat experience. And in fact, the other museum I went to today was awesome. You guys really know how to put together a museum out here.
If you like museums, California is a good destination because we've got a little bit of everything.
Well, I just mean they're well done. I've seen museums where it's like, oh, we put a bunch of stuff in that room. It's the museum. There's signs on it.
We put some plaques on it. What's your problem?
This is lots of thought, interactivity, like fun for kids. In the back, where the cop cars probably were back in
look
the
at
day.
that.
They got like a representation of all different,
Oh, I
a
love
bunch
that.
of different eras.
Is that a helicopter?
That's the backup.
That's a helicopter that you can go into. I didn't really see it on this side. I mean, everything's a little bit dusty because it's, just a regular day. I'm sure they polish it up when there's something fancy going on. But that's a helicopter. There's little stairs on the other side, and you can go in there and fiddle with it.
Oh, that's cool.
They say you can go into anything you want except for the cars, but you can go into the jail cells. Like, it's neat. And you go into the helicopter and fiddle around. I mean, helicopters are they're narrower than a car. I mean, they're little, and when you see them in real life, see this thing that you see.
Well, for you,
so
you're a
small.
big guy too. That would be
Well,
even
they're
tighter for
smaller
you.
than cars.
Oh yeah, for sure.
On the cop cars, do they pop any of the hoods that let you look at as far as whether it was just a standard engine back in the old days, like that 1950s era one we're looking at?
Right. When I'm just walking around, no, but I got to assume that these things are legit. They are just their cop cars that they kept, right? So, I mean, they knew what they were doing. They just kept a car once in a while.
Is that a Yamaha motorcycle?
I don't remember. I think so.
Kawasaki.
Oh, it is a Kawasaki.
But it's not a Harley.
No.
Kawasaki KZ one, or that might have been the 900 or the.
But I
1000.
bet you there's nothing done to these cars other than they parked them here. So I bet you when they pop the hoods, they're legit.
Yeah.
Everything that was in them back in the day. So what I did is I took a picture like this. I didn't post any because I only could post 10 pictures on stupid Instagram. But I took a picture looking in at the dashboard of each of them, which is neat because they've all got their stuff. And it was like back in the day, it's like a clipboard, like a clipboard and a light. And then there's like a clipboard, a light, and a radio.
Yeah.
And then there's like a clipboard,
the
a light.
progression of history.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Except the only problem is they only had a stupid Chevy. They didn't have a good Ford there.
That Dare one was a Chevy.
Yeah, it was a stupid Chevy. Chevy should never be cop cars. They look stupid.
I remember when those were like the cop cars.
They make shitty cop cars.
Yeah, they are, because criminals can escape out this extra stupid window that you don't need.
Did they have one of the Mustangs? Because I remember that was like a big
just
deal when they had the Mustangs.
Oh no, there's one car that I didn't put in here, and it's like the old Model T one up front, so it's an even older one.
I've never seen a Mustang that was designed to have somebody in the back seat because it's not a four-door.
They're just pursuit cars. They throw them on the highway and pursue people with them.
Yeah,
Mustang pursuit cars, yes.
They used to have road runners up here, like Plymouth Road Runners in the 90s.
And Dusters. Dusters too.
I think that's what this one is, isn't it? An old Plymouth. Well,
that
Plymouth.
is.
No, this one here. That's an old Plymouth. Or
something. In the foreground, the background.
This one here.
Yeah,
no, that's an old car.
Yeah,
that one in the middle is a Plymouth.
Yeah, this one is cool. I'd like one of these. I don't know anything about it other than it looks bad. It looks like that thing would. I would not.
Well, what is that car? What is that? I don't know what the one in the foreground.
I have a Roadrunner grill, like the the emblem on the grill broke half, and I didn't know. Maybe it's T something. Was there a T in it?
There's a Dodge.
I thought it was a Dodge or whatever. Plymouth.
It's a Dodge or a Plymouth. Yeah, and they were the same.
It's sharp. It's sharp. It looks like a muscle car.
Yeah.
And it's got the cool old, just plain old lights on top. Anyway, so it's a cool museum. They've got actual history in there. What they don't have is anything about the LA riots. I asked them and they went, no, like weird. And I went, oh, is that intentionally? And then I didn't say it like a dick. I went, is that intentionally? Because that's the first thing that came to mind. I don't know if it was rude or what.
Well, the whole.
Oh, no. It's
they
because
paid a lot of money because of that.
Yeah, right. What?
They paid a lot of money, around that time. So like the whole Rodney King payout and shit.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I'm sure it's a black eye, but still, it would have been interesting to see something because it was a piece of history. They had the the Lebanese army, the Petty Hearst, Siamese Liberation Army, SLA.
Yeah.
That's the AR-80. That's the original army of cops. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, really, and oh man, just a neat museum. I can't encourage you enough. It costs $9 to go in, and it's next to the. No, it's not the zoo. It's down the street from the zoo. It's like 9 minutes from the zoo, wherever that comes.
Yeah, I mean, if you were if you were of that mindset,
from the zoo and the observatory,
so many. I mean, even the La Brea Tar Pits is awesome to go to if you do that. If you like dinosaurs and stuff.
Oh, dude, HOSH, are you going to the King Tut thing?
No. Where is that?
The Science Center. Science Center.
The Discovery Cube, or is it in LA? Or is it
in LA?
I thought he said Discovery Tube, and I was all excited, but that's stupid cube.
No, that's a cube.
Are you talking about the actual King Tut sarcophagus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that was like in the
traveling again.
80s.
Yeah.
I thought that's haunted, and they stopped traveling because it was haunting people and stuff.
No, I've seen it. It was in Toronto for a while.
It's in LA. It's here now. It's at the Science Center where the space shuttle is.
Oh, great. I'm going to take a note of that.
It was in Chicago back in the 1980s. I mean, I can't believe it's the same thing.
It's pretty old.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's the same King Tut.
You know, it's been around, Dano. It was in England at one time.
Well, yeah, but I would think that it would have gone.
Before that, it was in Egypt. Before that, it was in Egypt.
It's been 38 years. I would have thought it moved on to another country at this point.
Well, I mean, I think it's been touring the world for the last however long.
Exactly. It's like, well, why is it back here in the United States?
I don't know, but I'm going to see it in April.
One word.
I mean,
Money.
there were lines going around the museum to get into it back in the 80s when it came. I mean, the entire
I think you just answered
That's
your
my
own
problem.
question. Then.
I hate lines. I hate lines. Yeah. No, I hear you.
It was here for 3 months in Chicago, in the city of Chicago.
Yeah, I think you just answered your own question when you said there's lines around the building with why is it back?
Yeah. And now he's all pissed off because why is it in California? Like,
it'll start being.
no, I should have been the last person who had a chance to see it. Not
Well,
these
no.
people in
First of
California.
all, I never had a chance to see it. Second, I'm not pissed off. I'm just thinking that if it's on a national tour, I would, since there's 140 some countries in this world, that it would have gone to many other countries before coming back.
LA.
Well,
Those
LA.
countries have big. How many of those countries have big
Probably. I mean,
museums that can display them, that can pay for all the moving, the expense, everything like that? How many of those do you think there are in the world?
and we fly in panda bears for fun in LA.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
All
so
right,
this
so-
includes the gold sarcophagus and the whole 9 yards.
It's the center of orca slavery, California.
What?
Don't talk about my beloved California like that.
I just wonder, is this a tribute or is this actually the full exhibition?
Wait, how many dolphins are held in slavery in Californian labor camps?
I went to SeaWorld this weekend. There was dolphins there. Legit dolphins.
Kept half.
Sorry,
No,
I-
they were actually working
All
on
right.
they were whipping the crap out of a building that pyramid underwater.
Get a hold of your show, Angelina.
All right, so we got a good movie of the day.
Yes.
This was Hosh's idea, so I'll let him.
I heard it was his favorite movie. That's why it's his idea.
It's his
At
favorite
least-
movie. It's
at
one of
least-
my favorites. So
So this is not a great movie, but it's a good gun movie, and it is Romeo plus Juliet. Smeggy knows the exact date. What date was it that it came out in the 90s?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, 96.
So it was Leonardo DiCaprio, Claire Danes played the title Romeo plus Juliet, but what's his name? Oh, you just had the picture up. Anyway, Tybalt, Lord of Cats, was
What,
played
you
by
want to see the
John
picture or
Leguizamo.
something?
And there's a really interesting shootout in a gas station. The filming, some of the shots they do, I really like. They speed things up, they slow them down. But the interesting thing was the modified handguns. They named them like Sword, or Mercutio had a dagger, and the dagger was a Beretta that was all chromed out, and it had like a window for the magazine that you could see the bullets. The slide said dagger. There was like a barrel extension thing to the front of it. So the guns are interesting.
Right,
So, yeah.
and that's one of the things I remember is at one point the dude goes like, "Hand me my long sword," and that's a rifle compared to a pistol. But yeah, look, I mean, excuse me, like look at all this like fanciness and whatnot.
We're just looking that there were over 15 types of firearms between pistols and rifles used in this, and then modified in unusual ways.
They were all
man, I read
modified ridiculously. And
look at that. Those
But it was a
grips,
weird
that's
movie.
on
Look at
screen.
the hairstyles and the costumes and the even the cinematography or whatever that's called, like the colors and stuff. It's
Yes.
a weird movie, so that's part of the whole.
You're doing
The
Romeo
cars, too.
and Juliet with guns. What do you expect?
There it is. There's the dagger. There's Mercutio's dagger. So that just
Yeah, I don't think using that on the beach would be all that useful. I mean, I can just see the sand getting stuck in there.
Well, so the reason for that is I like Shakespeare, and there's a part where Mercutio jumps in to break up a fight, and he disarms himself before he gets into a fist fight.
Oh,
And so that's what he's doing. He's dropping his weapon in the ground. It's a sword, though, right? Is what it's supposed to be. Right?
It would
So,
be interesting to know is if you could make a grip like that is literally where you can see the rounds that easily, that would still be highly reliable.
Modern polycarbonate easily, yeah.
well, doesn't the gutter snipe have that? That what is it? You know what I'm talking about? The gutter snipe, that covert ops handgun they had that had the
Was it an
wing on the side?
Way back, yeah, it was
ASP. ASP made it. That's what it was.
ASP.
Oh, look at this weirdo gun. This is the long sword.
That's the longsword. Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's
not
where
one.
Mercutio dresses up as a girl.
The Techno Arms Mag 7M1.
So
South
Dan,
It's a shotgun. Huh.
back in the 80s, 90s maybe, but 80s I think, ASP made this gun with somebody, and it had a clear grip and a hole in the frame so you could see how many rounds were in it. And that was the way it was made.
Look at
But
that
that's
block right there.
It had a gutter snipe sight on it, which kind of made
Look
it
at
also
that thing.
interesting.
That's awesome.
If you could get a down the sights profile shot, that's really what was kind of the bread and butter about that gun. Because it was a covert gun. It was supposed to be used in close range. There it is. So the gutter snipe was a channel that it's only on the rear side. There was no front post. And you basically look down that channel, and that's how you drew a sight line. You're going to see a lot of pictures from Call of Duty because it was in Call of Duty.
I mean, with the exception of the painting to highlight it, it's really a very old way of sighting.
Sure.
I mean, to use gutter sights.
Well, I mean, a shotgun's employed that. The upper receiver on like an 870 has got those long horizontal lines, right? Those grooves are it's not for like for really accurate sight line. It's for kind of drawing a bead and going for it.
Right. Instead of having a bead, you just have a elongated rear sight, but there's no front post.
Oh, I didn't mean a bead like a front post. I meant like drawing a bead on your sight line.
Oh, okay, gotcha. The other bead.
Yeah. Your other bead.
So I just looked it up because I was curious, because I thought there was a whole big thing about Egypt didn't like the whole idea of King Tut leaving Egypt, right? And it does say examine exquisite rings found on his fingers, opulent jewelry that adorned his body, and the gold sandals placed on his feet. Discover how the analysis of blah 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 and how the cutting edge technologies. It doesn't say anything about him going around.
I don't know that
I think that mask is in there.
I'm concerned that he's probably a little bit fragile, so they probably take the sarcophagus, and they're going to have the crook and flail, right? The crook and flail were the things that he held across his chest, and then all the jewelry regalements and all that stuff.
The mask thing.
The mask, yeah.
Okay, well, hope that clears that up.
Dude, I'm still stuck on this fucking Mag 7, dude. I
don't think
it's
it's
such a weird gun
there, but I don't know. I kind of like it. Doesn't that shoot that little short shotgun round though?
Probably shoots a 20 or a 410. Oh no,
it's a 12 gauge, but it's short. It's like a 2-inch round or something.
This here? No.
Well, look at the.
Oh no, it says right there, right? It says.
Is actually
look at the bolt carrier. It's very short.
Length 12 gauge shell. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see it.
That is crazy.
Technically, Bob is correct.
Yes. Well,
I keep wanting to scroll Smeggy's window, but it ain't working.
Back in '96, nobody was making those short shells.
Yeah, but that's because I mean it's a shotgun with a freaking like a magazine, like a handgun kind of thing.
That gun is stupid looking. The gun's stupid looking.
Stacked magazine. Yeah, no, it's a dumb gun. I agree. I don't like it at all. Yeah.
I'm just fascinated by it. That's all. I mean, I'm not saying it probably works good at all. It probably doesn't.
I'm sure you probably like those little dogs, those things called taco terriers.
What the heck are you talking about, dude? You're
obviously nonsense. I'm just thinking you like ugly things. That's all I'm saying.
Taco terrier. We call those food truck food here in California. That's what that's how we make our tacos. Tuesday special.
We call them a roach coach.
Well, yeah. So wait, hold on. Has anybody actually seen the movie to get back on the movie thing?
Oh, that's what we were talking about. The movie Romeo Must Die.
Yeah, we're getting.
I have never seen that.
Sorry. We're talking about Romeo and Juliet.
I have never seen that. I do want to now, though.
I know Angie's seen it.
Yes.
Sorry, Angela. And if anybody picked up, the opening was the song, I don't know, from the Cardigans. I don't know what the song's called, but that was like the theme song kind of from the movie.
I think I saw it once.
No, the theme song where the boys are back in town. Come on. When they come rolling up, it's like when they're coming up to the gas station.
Oh, the boys. Yeah, that song.
Yeah.
So, Angela, if you were to try to give me in just one or two sentences an encouragement to go check out this movie, how would you describe it to get me interested in checking it out?
Leonardo DiCaprio shirtless.
Okay, I am heterosexual, but that's okay.
It's hard to tell sometimes, Dano.
Well, that's all right.
I mean, the guns are cool, but like as HOSH was saying, it's a good gun movie. Actually, that was so when I was like I don't know, I was probably like 13 when that came out.
2 weeks ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
2 years ago. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's an awesome gun. So it made me like, oh,
13-year-old girl sitting in a movie theater going, "That's an awesome gun. I want that."
I mean, cool. It was kind of weird, but yeah.
So one of the things that, aside from the guns and aside from the cinematography, which I think is really nice, the cars are awesome looking. All the script was entirely matching Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. It is entirely true.
That's why I didn't like it.
Oh, really?
Because it was Old English, right?
Oh, yeah. Except
with all modern stuff. Yeah,
it's
weird.
Full of prose.
I guess I just wasn't
iambic pentameter.
But I understand that it could be.
Yeah, so I found that really compelling because I think at the time I had just finished reading it in middle school or something like that, and I was like, "Oh,
see,
yeah,
I was not in middle school,
right?" Oh no, I was in high school. I take that back when it came out.
What year was this?
96.
1996.
Yeah, it was like a mid to late 90s.
That don't make us all feel super old. Or at least some.
All right, so let's go around. So HOSH, how many thumbs?
I'll give it 2. I was the one that picked it, so I gotta say I gotta put up the
right. Gweebs.
I remember seeing it, but I'm gonna sit out because I just do not. I would give it a bad one only because I don't mind
it. I don't care.
Well, honestly, I just don't want to give somebody the idea that I didn't like the movie. I just don't remember.
All right, we don't know what it deserves yet, so maybe you'll rewatch and then we'll go from there. Bob, you haven't seen or you've seen?
I think I may have seen the previews for it when it came out and went, I'm not watching that fucking shit.
There you go.
I probably would have seen most.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Jimothy?
I'm not going to give it any thumbs down, but I'm not going to give it any thumbs up either.
All right, so we're at a 0, and Dano's not seen it. Smeg?
Smeg hasn't seen it either.
No, trust me, I've seen it, which is what I was just about to get to. It's a little tough for me. I feel like maybe giving it a thumb, at least for, it was neat that it took Shakespeare but made it kind of modern, although they kept the same words. But I'm leaning against doing that because having a 4-year-old, 4 years older than me, sister, when this movie came out, I have seen Romeo and Juliet about 2,358 times.
Yeah, you had.
She went to the movie theater 17 times before it was out of theater.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
So that part of it kind of ruins it for me.
Right.
But I'm with HOSH. I think it was kind of interesting. If you like Shakespeare, it's a little bit easy, although the wording's all the same, it's a little bit easier to digest than seeing people with frilly coats and swords and things. It's kind of hip or kind of cool, but you have to kind of like Shakespeare also if you want to.
All right.
I mean,
so
it's a poison pill because the gun stuff is kind of interesting. It's worth 2 thumbs up for the interesting way they did the guns. But if you don't like Shakespeare and you don't like that style of English, it could be not interesting.
Yep. So how many snowman phalanges?
I guess I'll give it 1 with the caveat don't watch it 2,368 times.
All right, so we got
I think the osmosis he has.
3. We got 3. I'm giving it 2.
Long enough to
so we got 5. So
5
5 thumbs.
5 out of 7.
That's more than a cat has. So
Out of a possible 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have a cat that had polydactylism, which meant he had a hand and a half in both his front paws. So you know, it can happen.
I had a cat like that too, but he had 6 toes on all 4 feet.
Oh,
Is
there
this
you
a
go.
cat chat?
Yep. Going to turn into one.
It's gonna turn into one because I can't get a hold of my show. So this is probably the last time we'll ever let the girl do it because obviously
I don't know. I think this is some of the best behaved some of the panel members have been.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't you can't outbehave me. But all right, so let's break into the fucking history for the day. So I don't have the gun one open, but I got the regular one open. So I'll jump into
Regular
that.
history?
Yeah, the like regular in this day. So
Yeah,
Oh,
you
gotcha.
gun history then.
yeah. All right. So here's the regular history. 1998, FDA approves Viagra. Hold back the tears, Bob. It's all right. 1775.
Paying
Jefferson.
$9 for a pill to get a hard on. Screw that.
You know, I actually saw a thing. They
Don't say
developed
hard-on.
that for just regular old like heart health and stuff, and then they found that like side effect, and we're like, oh, this is the
Yeah, that's right. It was originally designed for heart problems, and then it just ended up killing people because they were banging.
Yeah. All right. So 1775, Jefferson elected to the Continental Congress. So kind of cool. 1865, Lincoln, Sherman, and Grant meet. Civil War type shit. 1905, fingerprint evidence is used to solve a British murder case. Interesting.
5. Wow.
1977, the old guys might remember this one. Jumbo jet collides at Canary Islands Airport.
Where's that? I don't know.
Canary Islands is off the coast of Spain.
Yeah.
1912, Japanese cherry trees planted along the Potomac. 1958,
And we ripped them out and put them in a camp.
we ripped them out. In 1958, Khrushchev became the Soviet premier.
The 28th or the 27th?
The 27th.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't have any of these on my list.
Yes, this
So
one.
today,
They planted those trees because in world
No, this it goes to New York's time.
oh,
All right, and the last one is 1945. Germans launched the last of their V2s.
Interesting. Before we swooped in and grabbed all the rocket scientists.
American and Russia scrambled to grab all the rest of the parts that were left.
Yep. So that was the 27th, but because the show is at midnight, we can go on both sides of that situation. So on the 28th, we got some interesting stuff coming up. We missed the 25th though, because when we were paying attention, it was Medal of Honor Day. So the day that we remember the people that were given the Medal of Honor. 1774. Okay, that doesn't matter. There was some neat ones in the 28th. So tomorrow or today, depending on where you are. Where'd they go? 1933, Nazis order a ban on all Jews in businesses, professions, and schools. I guess they can exist, but not in business.
They mean all Jews, not just fully automatic Jews.
All Jews. 1933. Oh, that can't happen. That can't happen. Like that's within grandparents' lifetime still. So.
Yeah.
And it's prudent to point out that they banned Jewish ownership of guns before that.
Good point.
That couldn't happen in America, right?
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah.
So we did get to 1945. German launches the last of its rockets. 1969, Eisenhower died in D.C. at Walter Reed. So 1969, Eisenhower died on the 28th. This is a neat one though, or I think a neat one. 1979. What happened then today in 1979, Dana, in Pennsylvania?
That is interesting.
I thought you were going to ask me about Elk Grove and O'Hare to Elk Grove, but no,
Nope.
I can't remember.
Everybody remembers this one. This was world news. In fact, everybody.
Oh, 3 Mile Island.
Yep, 3 Mile Island
Nice
today,
work, Dano.
1979.
Where are
19
the superheroes? They should be here by now.
1986, $100 million worth of aid for the Nicaraguan Contras.
Wow.
1986. We lost a F-117 stealth fighter, it looks like, over Yugoslavia
think
today
they-
in 1999.
Pretty much started decommissioning them at that point too.
Really? Because they weren't.
Yeah,
stealth
basically it got hit by accident.
And then this is a neat one, 1962. HOSH saw this one on here. The U.S. Air Force announces, this is 1962. This is before I was even existed yet. 1962, the U.S. Air Force announces research into the use of lasers to intercept missiles and satellites. So,
Yeah, that's
we did that without metric. Zing. Let's see.
Oh, you guys are still.
I have an interesting history from 1979. Midnight
all I
Range TM was born. So happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
I wonder what happens. Does he like bake his own cake, or does he just like get some other cake and then they like? Oh,
I think he puts on a wig and then he bakes a cake.
oh, he bakes a cake for himself. Brilliant.
But he's somebody else. He's not midnight range. He's like noon range.
Oh, he's
He's
one of
mid-range.
those.
Just a
Alright.
speculation there.
All right, so he'll probably have himself a nice open-faced hot dog.
because the hot dog is a sandwich.
No,
I guess you could, in theory, you could have an open-faced hot dog, right? You
Well,
just
anybody
put it
can
on-
do it. Anybody
Put it
can
on
do it.
there.
That doesn't
Put some
change
hot
time
dog
and space.
gravy
It's about
on it,
working
right?
into a sandwich.
Make
Lance
some
is
hot
very good
dog
on that.
gravy,
But she's
right?
still
Just
nice.
get all that
Okay.
grease that comes out of
Angelina?
hot dogs.
Herd the cats. Herd the cats.
Cutting up hot dogs and SpaghettiOs is good.
All right. Well,
So have you seen the thing where you take raw spaghetti and you jam it the hot dog
Yes.
and then you boil it all and
Yeah.
then it turns into a sauce?
Give it to the
hot
kids,
dog?
yeah.
And then- yeah.
What about like a piece of
acceptable to interrupt
a piece
me.
of Texas toast, sliced up hot dog on top of it, and then SpaghettiOs poured over that? Wouldn't that be a hot dog's open faced sandwich?
No, that sounds like vomit. That's gross.
yeah, that's gross. All right. So we're
Thank you, Midnight, you turned into a food chat just by being
We're
born.
turning into a food chat. I gotta wrangle y'all back. So
Happy birthday, Midnight. We did that for you.
happy birthday, Midnight Range. You better appreciate it. And Bob's gonna send you some pictures later. Probably don't open them in front of someone. So anyway, tomorrow on the Gun Channels, Rick's Life as I See It, 7 p.m. The Next Generation with Clover Attack looks like it's suspended. I don't know if that's a lie or what. I don't know. Never Enough Ammo, 9 p.m.
That guy still does chats?
That guy sold, maybe. AK-47 Guru, no.
No, that was taken off the list, I thought.
It's not taken off the list.
Somebody put
But
Damn.
Jimmy, why don't you tell us about what happens in the morning and then what happens at night?
Yeah, early watch night. We will not be on tomorrow. Actually, yeah, tomorrow. Night Strike's got something to do. Tony's got something to do, and I pretty much kind of got something to do. So, yeah.
So,
But
do you know if anybody's going to open something, whether it be guided or unguided?
no, I mean, besides, I think Knives has done a morning chat. You've done a morning chat, but I can't really think. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. It's open.
Get your taxes done with you.
But yeah, so but we will be back Thursday though at
Right.
9-ish Eastern, 10-ish Eastern, something like that.
So the early
I have one more show to plug.
Thanks, Night Strike.
I don't know if you're allowed to.
It's a hole in the ground.
It's
All right,
not a
go
hole in the
ahead.
ground. It's more like a hole in a mountain. But probably doing a Smeggy Cave tonight after this show.
Oh,
So
lovely.
that's before all those other ones that you mentioned.
Oh, snap.
Maybe I'll just hang out in the chat.
You know that DB Cooper is out in the YouTube side, or at least he was, so maybe he would join you in the cave. Have you ever had DB in the cave yet?
I don't know. don't think so. Maybe
Sharpen his knives on them stalactites and stalagmites.
Yeah, you just gotta like when he comes in, just like make sure when he goes out, his pockets aren't bulging. Yeah, I'm just
I do want to take this time to say that the cave is dry. It is not a moist cave.
Oh my!
So
bring your own beer, right? Bring your own booze. Smeggy does not supply any drinks, any snacks. It's just like you can sit here if you want, I guess, and we'll talk. But
I think
we have a very important correction here.
This is total fake. This whole show has been a scam. It's not Midnight Range's birthday. All he said was he was born in '79, and now all of a sudden everybody's saying happy birthday, dedicating shit to him. He's got gifts. I PayPal him money. Come on, what's going on?
We did all that bullshit talk for nothing.
All right,
hey, well, and it's my birthday next week.
That's the last time we let Smeggy say anything. But anyway, I don't know if someone said it, but tomorrow, Daily Gun Show, 9 o'clock. It probably won't be me leading it because this is how it goes.
What are you saying? We're letting the audience vote? Is that what we're saying? The audience is voting on this?
I think so. The audience will vote on the host tomorrow. So go ahead and vote. We'll
we should do that. We're gonna start doing that.
That's
when
a really bad idea.
Starts.
That's a really bad idea.
Okay, whoever shows up early in the YouTube side we're going to take the consensus of the recommendations for who's going to lead the show. So Dano, Jimmy, sitting there being quiet the whole time. Jimmy.
Yeah, you're gonna have to participate now. No more hiding in the back.
People are gonna start lobbying for their favorite host. They're gonna put little signs in their lawn in the front yard. Vote Jimmy. Vote Jimmy for next week's host.
Oh man, paint it on the roof of your house, and then when the Google satellites fly over, we can get pictures of it.
Brilliant.
All right, so anyone got anything to add? G-Webs?
Yeah, thanks. I wanted to ask the people that are already participating in the Gun Show Loophole Tour to take that link I threw in there, and if you would comment. I have one person comment so far, and it's only got a couple of days left, so I don't think I'm gonna get a lot of more people. But one of the things to do to get the logarithm going is to give it some action, right? So I'm asking the people that have already participated in it. You should be able to go in there and leave a comment and ask a question. Click on one of the updates and either comment or, I think there's little smiley faces or something, but, interact with the platform to help get it onto the logarithm. So hopefully we'll throw it out into the people that are just browsing the platform of Indiegogo. Remember, Indiegogo is designed to be a venture capitalist for content, people that are interested in seeing new, interesting stuff they haven't seen before. You don't go watch TV for that because TV's the same old formula, right? How to brainwash you. So they're going on to things like Indiegogo where they're going to see creative content. So I want to get the campaign up onto the platform so that people that are just browsing it, surfing it, looking for something new can find it. And if not just for the money that it might bring in, that's putting two-way stuff in front of them. They might look at that and go, why would anybody be petitioning for gun shows? Those things are horrible. Maybe they look at it and maybe that makes them go find a decent video on a gun show somewhere. And now they might change their mind. So we don't know, but I'm asking people to comment and, like I say, just interact with it, share it on the other platforms that are out there. I certainly can't do any of that stuff when I'm driving. So as soon as I get behind the wheel, the store is shut down. There's absolutely zero happening as far as income coming in. So I could really appreciate the efforts to get that project out there in front of new eyeballs, because a couple more $10 bills will keep us going. Appreciate it.
All right, so yeah, hop on the site. Anything helps. So yeah. So anyone else got anything to plug? Smeggy? Cave?
No, I'm good. I did all of my self-promotion earlier.
I got something I'd like to throw out there. I typically don't mention it, but I'll go ahead and take this opportunity. I have a Instagram channel, and it's just Dano GC for Gun Channels, all one word. I'm going to be going to Wanamaker Gun Show, and I have some photography out there right now, but it's really more or less practicing stuff, trying to get it a little bit better. But that is my goal, is to focus primarily on Western guns, although I will probably have some other miscellaneous stuff in there as well. So look forward to that. So if you want to see what kind of stuff I've seen out at Wanamaker, just add to your Instagrams, Just Dano GC.
I think that I just followed you recently
Yes, thank you.
on Instagram. Jimmy?
I got nothing.
HOSH? Nothing. Muted.
You're muted.
G-Webs has got his hand over his mouth again.
Yeah.
Yeah, G-Webs won't let him talk.
All right. Well, HOSH is censored. So, Bob, you got anything?
Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, oh yeah, there'll be the whole like, share, subscribe thing, of course. However, the most important thing is to support gun channels. Let's get back on the platform. I noticed we've probably lost a little bit through that little bit of upgrading and shit. So anyway, yeah, do that. Dano Hour said like, share, subscribe, thumbs up. And let's do a quote of the day and wrap it up then.
What if I had something to plug, Bob?
Well, then you should have plugged it before you put it to me, right?
I didn't put, well, okay, anyway, so there's a giveaway on gun channels happening. If you like the Owl and Anchor channel, there'll be a random drawing on Friday. So more information there. But yeah, that's it. So now, Bob, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I actually have a quote.
I got a question regarding that.
Okay.
If you don't mind me interrupting real quick. If you're already liked to that channel?
Then yeah, if you already like it, then it's cool. You're good to go. You're in on it.
All right.
And since HOSH didn't get to do any plugs,
Oh,
I'll do
sorry.
plugs for him.
We're muted. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we're there's all kinds of talking going on whether we're muted or not. Anyway, yeah, still got the ham radio crash course going. We're going to be live instead of Friday. We're going to be live on a Thursday.
Oh, really?
Which is, yeah, because I'm going to be busy Friday. But we're talking about satellite communication via ham radio. So using your simple Baofeng, for example, to talk to a satellite, even the ISS. In some cases, you can use your Baofeng, listen to an ISS, and download the pictures that they're streaming out to your phone.
See, my goal is to talk to ISS with the Titan II missile antenna. If you can do it. Or is it the wrong guy?
Is that the one with the big, that crazy
Christmas?
That's HF. So that probably won't do VHF, UHF. But oh, anyway, definitely make it.
Anyway, you're doing a 10 on Thursday this week instead of Friday. So.
Yeah, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be doing it.
And we're about to go geek out on radios and other stuff. So we'll see if we jump into the caves Mikey said he's having here after this.
Lubrication for the cave. Well, I'll be lubricated with beer, but
yeah, I'm drinking a chelata tonight, courtesy of the HOSH.
Modelo Chelata.
Not driving because I drank it out to the white part and I'm loud. Am I even connected? Are we connected anymore?
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Anyways, so
No,
Bob,
I couldn't hear a word you're saying.
I didn't hear it. I was blabbing about beer. Okay.
No, couldn't hear a word you were saying. Anyway, can I do the quote? Shall we wrap this up and then go to Smeggy's cave and tell us the debauchery that I'm sure goes on there?
yes, let's do it.
All right. So anyway, our quote today, I think, is really appropriate for what's going on right now with all these marches and all these take away all the guns. This one's by Larry Elder. And anyway, a woman who demands further gun control legislation is like a chicken who roots for Colonel Sanders. It's so true. Right? Let's take away our advantage or our equalizer. Craziness. And that's where the world has come to. So thanks everybody for watching and listening, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
And I'm not prepared at all, so hey, why don't you say it since you've said it before?
What, off the top of my head?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to say?
The end thing. Remember, like, what, in 2012, you recorded it and sent it to me.
Oh my gosh. I can't remember. I know. No, I can't remember.
Go to a CCW class every year, practice every month, and carry every day.
And thank you for watching.
Websites.com.
There you go.
Oh, and then I got to push the button. All right, thanks everybody for watching. Kind of sloppy. We'll be back on the road tomorrow. No, I don't know. Road somewhere tomorrow.
We're getting sloppy, that's for sure.
Yeah. Maybe we should call it the On the Road edition.
Oh, I love it. It's on the road edition.
All right, then. See you guys.